Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to Jedi Fallen Order. My name is Ben, and I'm going to take us through this game. My goal is to do what I've called a true Jedi, quote unquote, pacifist playthrough, where I do as much as possible to avoid as killing as many things as possible. Because though this game is very combat oriented, and that's the way that it was built, a lot of people, especially friends of mine who are Star Wars fans, have raised the issue that Jedi aren't really supposed to kill a lot of things. So we're going to do our best to be as true a Jedi as possible. I'm going to be playing on story mode, which is the easiest difficulty, because that will make that task easier. And of course, it allows us to focus on the actual story of the game rather than just me talking about playing it. So, yeah, I'm going to be staying quiet for most of the cutscenes because this game is voice acted pretty well. So, you'll get to pay attention to that. Loading screens are a little bit long, though. So,
Listen, I don't want to upset your rhythm, Cal, but the boss wants a word. It's gonna be good for us. Here he is, Chief.
An error has been detected on line 10A. All our clamps are jammed. I need 2 workers to climb up and secure the cables.
That's not an easy maneuver.
The guild will double your pay for this shift.
Come on, Cal. What's your score? That couldn't hurt. Huh?
Okay.
All right, let's go.
Get to work.
This way.
I'm right behind you.
so as a general note, if you notice some frame drops and skipping, that's not the recording or the stream, depending on when you're watching this. That's actually the game. Unfortunately, this game does not run particularly well on PC, which is what I'm playing it on, so.
Sorry, Cal.
Don't worry about it.
I don't think these tools are gonna make it through the shift.
Up here. Will you look at that? A separatist ship. Haven't seen a Luke or Hulk in ages.
Yeah. Ages.
Breaking her will be big money. All right, let's go.
I will say something for this game. Despite all the graphical glitches, it is very pretty. So,
Look out! Hands up! What the hell?
Hey, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Ladder's out, though. Gonna have to find another way.
Yeah, no problem. I'll improvise.
See you there, pal.
this beginning area is mostly about teaching you the platforming mechanics, such as slides. Believe it or not, this will come up multiple times through the game.
Depart this barge immediately. You are not approved trash.
I'm trash, just not approved trash. passing through.
Hurry up. We're close to finishing ahead of schedule. I can just about taste the credits. It's gonna be a wild night tonight. Let's get this job done.
Reckless cow.
Good to see you.
You too. Don't get yourself killed.
That's the idea. Sounds like scrap rats. Creepy. Just passing through, guys. No need to come out and say hi this time.
Hey, Cal, I'll meet you at the clamps.
Sounds good. Be there soon. Whoa.
The platforming in this game is very similar to the Uncharted games or the more modern Tomb Raider games if you've played those. So there's not too much to really talk about in that case. I'm kind of more just letting the world breathe for itself at this point.
Look, the ship cutter is here. There it goes. Hey, we should get moving. Yep, good looking out.
So you can see, take a minute here and just look around. A lot of the scrap and stuff is all stuff from the Clone Wars, such as the gunships, battle droids, clone trooper helmets, and of course that big old Venator class Star Destroyer in the back there. And then in kind of the foreground-ish, you can see a bunch of ATTE walkers and other things kind of being patrolled by Imperial walkers at the same time. So it's a nice mishmash of technology. Showcase the changing times in the galaxy, as it were.
Hurry, we gotta finish before they start cutting this wing.
Cal, use the manual override lever below.
Got it. Your turn.
Hold on. All right, clamp secured. You okay?
Still here.
Give me a fright there, pal.
Done.
Hang on. I got this. We're done. Get out up here. Come take a look at this. It's a Jedi fighter. What a score! It's a real scrapper's payday. I mean, this thing's been here, what, 4 years?
5.
Whoever flew this went down in a blaze of glory. Those Jedi. Real tragedy. Yeah, I've always said they couldn't all be traitors.
Yeah, maybe.
Guess it's just our lucky day. Empire's gonna get a lot of good material out of it. Yeah, here we are scrapping these ships from the war just so they can turn around and make new ones. What a racket, huh? All of us risking our necks for the bosses. And the pay was better back during the Republic, too.
Hey, you really should watch what you say.
Listen to me. Find us free like this, it'll be your ticket off this soggy rock.
What makes you think I want out of here?
Come on, Cal, you're a young guy. You don't end up like me. Eventually, you gotta move on and live your life. Find your destiny.
Whatever you say. Hey, we should get back down.
You're not listening to me. What was that?
Bro, you okay?
Cal! I can't climb up!
Bro, just hang on.
Set me!
No, don't let go.
I can't hold on!
Bro, no! You okay, bro?
I'm all right. Just pin down.
Pilot's gone. This thing is barely flying. Hold on. Bro, you all right?
Okay,
We gotta move. Come on.
hell happened? What was that back there? Was that you? Well, that was the Force, wasn't it?
Just forget what you saw, okay? Please
No,
trust me.
but I've seen the stories. I've heard it.
Bro,
Bounties out on
I
people like
know.
you.
I know.
Yeah, we're ready. We need to be careful. Yeah.
So it might not be fully clear what happened in that cutscene because of the frame drops, but basically Cal used the Force to slow Proph's fall and save his life because the barge could get underneath him, and then steered them both to a platform where they crashed.
You holding up okay?
Good. Yeah, you?
Yeah. Cal, I've been working with you some time now. I've never seen you do anything like that before. We've been through some hell together. So, I know the risk that you took for me. I don't know how to repay you.
Don't mention it. I mean it.
Oh, you don't have to worry about me. This place is not safe. Maybe you should, disappear.
Just gotta head back to my place, grab my bag. Tappers owes me a favor.
I heard he was up on, Nar Shaddaa.
Yeah. You won't be seeing me for a while, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Okay, Cal.
Sorry if you heard that. That was my cat trying to jump into my lap, and I told her I was busy. So Cal kind of dozed off for a second. He woke up and Prof was gone. Let's go and see if we can find him.
Prof?
can see Prof kind of ahead of us, but he keeps walking away whenever we get into close enough to see him. And now when we try to open this door, it doesn't work. And the sounds of the train have just gone away behind us. Let's take a look and see what's behind us now. Oh. It's not the train anymore, is it?
Stopped.
Yeah, something's going on.
Everybody up. Identification ready. Move out and line up.
Probably just another contraband inspection.
Interesting side note. The TIE Interceptor in this game appears well before the TIE Interceptor actually should in canon, which means it's probably a super advanced prototype, reserved only for very important beings.
Is this all of them?
Yes, second sister.
We seek a dangerous fugitive. This is no common anarchist, but a devotee of the treasonous Jedi Order. Failure to turn over this traitor will result in a charge of sedition. Turn yourself in, or everyone present shall face summary execution.
I think it's time someone came forward. I've been working on this heap a long time. Way before the war. We refit and rebuilt ships. Best in the galaxy. Then came the Empire. And engineers became scrappers. The workers, they just started getting worked.
Prof.
We all know the truth. We're just too afraid to say it. To the Empire, we're all just expendable.
Yes, you are.
No!
Look at this. A lightsaber.
I found the Jedi!
What's that? Checking out the disturbance.
So this opening tutorial area is one of the ones where I know I'm not going to be able to get away with not killing things.
How'd you get here?
Because it's the tutorial, so you have to.
Stowaway. Jedi!
Unfortunately.
Hear that over the comm? Jedi?
See, the door won't open until the stormtroopers are dead. So.
Contact confirmed. Shoot to kill. All allied units down. Jedi is here. I've sealed the cargo door. Direct hit. Use your back.
You know, as noble as Prof's sacrifice was, I don't know what he really hoped to accomplish by walking out there and just talking. You know, it's not like he gave himself up as the Jedi. He just kind of stalled for time, and Cal really didn't do anything with that time, so I don't know. Whatever.
I chose to rest instead. That's how I prepare. That's how you prepare for death. Rest when you're dead, Stormtrooper.
So again, just tutorializing, target lock.
Someone else get up here! Whole squad is down.
You can
I can catch you.
block
I'll get you.
both ranged and melee attacks as long as you know you have stamina, and then you can parry by tapping the block button right before the attack hits you, and then you get riposte by attacking right after the parry. And you can use the force, the same ability that you used to save Prof earlier, to slow down both enemies and objects. That's useful for platforming.
Shouldn't have come here. You'll regret that. Fugitive comes this way. I'm ready for it. Someone over there?
Whoops. I was trying to see if I could skip that part by, again, not killing the enemies, but just avoid those two on the roof and keep moving. So the gameplay in this game is very similar to other third-person action games like Dark Souls or Sekiro, but it has its own Star Wars flavor that's very distinct. So.
Someone get him. Is he going to get away?
Here we go. There's a fight you can skip.
Gets to the front, stops the train. Oh no! Need cover. Now.
I mean, you really don't need to take cover.
Faster.
The fact that you can block and deflect all laser attacks as long as your stamina holds out is pretty insane.
I'm ready for your trip.
He just killed his own guy.
He shot the coupling out. Gotta get down. Ah! Ah! Ah!
A lot of the action set pieces in this game are really well choreographed. So, provided you guys will be able to see them through the frame skips, enjoy them.
Only way is up.
Alright, let's go for it. Here's this section, dirty secret. Just like that earlier part, you actually don't need to fight anyone here. Just run right past them all.
What now?
It's so funny because this game does not expect you to skip fights like that, so you can always hear the Stormtroopers laughing at you behind you. Once again, that's not the stream or the recording, that's actually the game itself that's causing those little hitching bits. And also, you don't need to touch the control stick at all in this section. As long as you just let it go, it'll send you right down the middle and you won't hit anything.
Somewhere. I recognize that stance. Perhaps you had some training after all. Who was your master? Padawan? Someone I killed, perhaps? What Jedi gave their life so that you might live?
Boss fight. Though it's not really a boss fight. You cannot hope to beat the second sister at this point.
You won't dodge the next.
This game is just teaching you about how the boss fights work with their unblockable attacks. You can even use the Force to slow her down, and it doesn't really do anything. And once you either get about, I'd say, a sixth of her life bar down, or you start running out of life yourself, then the game decides to take pity on you. And apparently has trouble loading the next scene. But, you know, like I said, it's an issue. You can kind of infer what happens in between. Not a big deal. And it's such a shame because this game looks so pretty and the choreography is so good and the frame hitches just ruin it.
Okay, shut that thing off and grab some seat.
Thanks for the help. But who are you people?
My name is Sir Junda, and this is my captain, Grease Dritus.
How you doing? Yeah, the Mantis is my ship, but you better pay attention to this lady here.
So, who are you?
Cal. Kestis. Who was that back there?
An Imperial Inquisitor. She's a Force user hunting Jedi survivors. And now that she knows who you are, she will not stop until she destroys you.
How do you know so much? And why'd you help me?
We track Imperial communications. We heard the Inquisitors were heading to Bracca, so we made our move.
Oh, yeah? And what's the bounty on Jedi these days anyway?
That's gratitude for you.
Look, I get it. You've been surviving on your own for so long that it's impossible to trust anyone. And it's what's kept you alive. But this is about something bigger than just surviving.
Like what?
Like rebuilding the Jedi Order.
You too? Anybody else?
Oh, we're not good enough for you?
The Jedi Council?
They're gone.
So I'm all you've got.
Captain, set a course for Bogano.
Aye.
In the meantime, try and relax. Go, you're safe. For now.
Well, that's not ominous at all, sir. Thank you.
You gotta move on and live your life. Find your destiny. Calico! You were talking in your sleep. Weirdo.
All right, there we go. So that planet that we started the game on, Bracca, is actually one that's featured heavily in a book called Star Wars Resistance Reborn that came out about a week either before or after this game. I don't remember off the top of my head. They both came out this past November 2019. And yeah, they came out so close to each other that it's pretty obvious that the planet was kind of in development for this game, and they informed the author of the book, Rebecca Roanhorse, about it, and she decided to put it in the book, and so they came out around the same time, and their depictions of the planet are basically identical. So it's pretty good synergy there, all things considered.
Grease?
Not now. I got work to do.
So that's Grease, our captain. We'll learn more about who he is and what he is doing a little bit later on. But as for the other person who was here before, Sarah, she is not here. There it is. The prompt wasn't showing up.
That's all. I wrote it. Years ago. You touch an object and witness events connected to it. You feel its history.
It's an echo in the Force from the object.
Not many Jedi have that skill.
How would you know that?
I was once a Jedi, but not anymore.
Do I know you?
No. But I knew your master, Jaro Tapal. He was a true guardian of the Republic.
He was a hero. Listen. Something happened to me during the Purge. I survived, but my connection to the Force is damaged. When I meditate, if I let my guard down, I lose control. And it's like I'm back in that moment when...
You survived, Cal. And you're not alone. Not anymore.
We're coming up on our destination.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, sometimes this happens when you're loading into a new planet.
A Jedi I knew discovered it before the Purge. You won't find it on any maps.
The Empire doesn't know this place exists.
No.
So, what's the plan? We hide out here?
We're done hiding, Cal. See that structure over there? I believe that vault holds the key to rebuilding the Jedi Order. But it requires someone strong in the Force to pass its test.
And since you're not a Jedi anymore, that's why you need me.
I know you don't trust me. And I'm not really sure I trust you. But we have a common enemy. And a common cause. I'll share more of my plan after you reach the vault. But, until then, there's someone here I think you should meet. May the Force be with you.
And also with you. I never know what they're supposed to say after somebody says, "May the Force be with you." It's like, it sounds like it should be a call response line, but it's not. So welcome to Bogano.
Guess I'm looking for a Jedi then. But if there's already one here, why does Seer need me?
This is where the game kind of truly begins. You can see these adorable little creatures called boglings. Fortunately, the game doesn't force you to kill any of them. In fact, later we can actually get one to climb aboard our ship, but that doesn't happen for a little while. So just got to kind of keep moving this way.
This looks like a safe place to meditate. Just need to focus my mind.
So this is where the game's comparisons to Dark Souls or something similar to that come from. Basically, anytime you meditate at one of these circles, it saves your game. But it's also, anytime you rest here, using that rest command, it also respawns any enemies that you've killed. So you can also use these save points to learn new skills, which obviously mostly have to do with lightsaber combat, but there are things like the ability to enhance your slow down ability, increase the number of force points, and how much health you have, which those are what we're going to be focusing on for this run because it's more on the pacifist side, as I mentioned. And then this one, obviously, superior blocking is going to be a big deal. So because this game is very combat focused, most of the experience points that you earn are through combat, so we're not going to be getting that many, so we're going to have to be pretty sparing with what powers we end up getting.
Hey, BD1. I'm Cal. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm looking for someone. No, not you. I'm searching for a Jedi, I think. Hold on. You know the Jedi? What do you know? Wait, hold on. Did you just slice that? Thanks.
Looks like we got to follow him. I also love the music in this section. It reminds me a lot of the music for the Ewok village
supposed to find must be waiting there.
Also, get a look at that big boy over in the distance. Don't worry, we don't have to fight him either. You don't actually have to fight anything on this planet. So, that's nice. Again, it kind of makes you fiddle around with the controls a little bit to make sure that you understand how it works. But basically, the map screen kind of works like the maps in Tomb Raider or in Metroid Prime, where it'll show you exactly where you need to go, but it won't show you the spaces in between unless you've been there before. It'll just kind of show you a path that you haven't used yet. A nice thing that it also does is it tells you how many things that you, like what percentage you haven't explored, and how many chests or collectibles there are in each area for those completionists out there. So BD1 will kind of show us the way, right? Look at that ugly looking bug right there. Now we could go over there to the left. It is possible to climb down over that area. But there's nothing over there. There's nothing really over there that we can do right now. And you can see there's that big dragon thing over in the distance. That is not actually an enemy that we actually have to fight. This is about as close as you ever get to it, except for one other place that we can go a little bit later on. So, not really much else we can do. I really like this planet. It's full of a lot of really interesting creatures. So we're just going to explore down this way a little bit. Like I said,
something over here.
There's nothing really that we can do. And BD1 kind of warns us against going over here. But there is one thing that we can get, and that's a collectible.
That's a really big bug.
So these bugs are supposed to be a fight, but, you know, like I said, you can just run past them. Not a big deal. And then this guy is guarding a Force Echo. If we can just use the Force to slow him down, run past him, and grab it.
It was after boggling eggs in the pack pot back.
Force Echoes will get us some
No way
nice XP, so...
That's why BD1 warned me. Alright, maybe I'll listen to you next time.
So the ability to sense Force Echoes, psychometry that it's talking about there, we know of at least one other major Jedi in the larger Star Wars canon who's had that ability, that being Quinlan Vos from the Clone Wars era. All right, and BD1's leading us off this direction.
Any ideas? Gotta get across this gap somehow. Zipline? Whoa! How'd you know that would work? Wait, you didn't?
So there's a save point right there, but we're not going to use it. No need, since we're not going to get into any fights.
Careful over there. That doesn't look safe. Just like back at the scrapyard.
So this is supposed to be a fight, but once again, you can just dodge them, roll past, and just head in here. Because they won't follow us. BD1 got hurt.
Pretty brave. You okay?
Or damaged, rather.
Wait, I can help you with that. Will you let me?
Of course Cal knows how to fix droids. He was a scrapper.
Okay. Well, your scomp link is busted, but this should help you get moving for now. Okay, try that. The vault. Yeah, that's where I was headed to. Okay, well, first we gotta figure out a way out of this place. BD, that's a little small for me. Don't worry, I'll find my own way out. Tight fit, but this should work.
So this is going to be one of the primary ways we earn XP in this run,
Use this room for storage.
being able to get collectibles like this. Unfortunately, a lot of them you actually can't get doing a non-combat run because, surprise, surprise, BD won't help you get collectibles, and it's hard to find them in places where there are enemies that you haven't killed. So
Those vines look like they lead somewhere. Hope they're sturdy.
this place looks like it was somebody's home up until a little while ago.
Yeah, I'm all right.
And there's your Estus flasks.
Healing stem. You're full of surprises. That's better. Thanks, little droid. Okay, let's try this again. Oh, okay. Here, hop on board.
So BD isn't just your map, he's also your heals. And you can see the number of healing stims that we have down in the bottom left along with our health bar.
Can't argue with that.
Though using a stim with BD1 isn't instant, it does take a little bit of time. So it's hard to do in the middle of combat. You kind of have to retreat and then use one. There we go. Another bit of a Dark Souls-esque thing there is the ability to cut down shortcuts and then use them to access areas we've already been a little bit faster.
Hey, a chest. Think the Jedi would mind if we grab supplies? Where are you going?
And that little animation right there, while being very cute, is also going to be the bane of our existence. So what we found there is a lightsaber part for customizing a lightsaber. I'm not going to be using that until a certain point later on in the game. But basically, anytime you open a collectible chest, you have to go through that entire animation in order to get what's inside it.
I can feel it.
What makes it really hard to do when there are enemies around. So we're not going to be getting many of those chests, needless to say.
Everywhere we've been.
So yeah, when you see a red path on there, that means that to get through there, you need an ability that you simply don't have yet. So we can't pass through this area quite yet. We have to
I can't make it over there. We gotta find another way.
Find another way around. Let's try down here. Oh, excuse me, fellow. Sorry to bother you. There's a meditation circle right here. Now using these as save points and using these as respawn points are two different things. And that's what this is telling us right here. Technically, we've saved at this point, so if we die, this is where we'll come back. But we haven't rested. Resting refills our force and life and all of BD's stims, but it also respawns any enemies that we've killed, which is where the difficulty of this game lies. So, We're just going to kind of keep moving. There's another echo right here.
This tool was used by someone eager to reach the vault.
I've got a couple of different ways we can go down over there. Let's see. It's not really any other place that we can get around that plant. We can really access right now, so let's go ahead and head down. All right, Beatty. Don't worry, I see that chest. We're going to be getting in that later. All right, we're just going to avoid that. So yeah, you're going to see me jumping and rolling a lot to avoid enemies, which, you know, it is what it is. All right. Those guys are particularly nasty. Those big toad things, they do a lot of damage for this point in the game, so you're going to want to avoid those if you're trying to do a run like this. All right, we'll do a quick meditate for a save. Again, we're not going to rest because we don't need to. We've only lost a little bit of health. Took a couple of bites here and there, but that's about all. All right, so you're seeing these kind of weird line patterns on the walls. Those are going to be of interest to us in a little bit here. Let's head down this way. I really love all the creature designs in this game. They're all really neat. So, you hear that really heavy breathing sound? Remember I said that we'd be seeing that big guy again? Hello. How's it going? This is as close as you ever get to him. Never actually do anything with him. With them, I should say. Don't know what gender it is or if it has a gender. But definitely a really cool creature design, just like all the creature designs in this game.
Try again.
It's difficult, Master.
Yes, the path is difficult. It may seem impossible, but with persistence and the Force as your ally, you will overcome any obstacle. You will master any path. Now, do what you must to reach me. Faster, more intensive. Now, reach my position.
Faster, more intense being a reference to something that George Lucas said in a behind-the-scenes video for, I believe, episode 2. And now we have the wall run.
I did it. With persistence and the Force as my ally. Just remembering old tricks.
So that's nice. And Master T'Pol, Cal's master. Oh, yep. Now that we have that ability, we've unlocked a new path, so we can go that way that we weren't able to before. So Master T'Pol, Cal's master, is voiced by the inimitable Travis Willingham, who is a very accomplished voice actor, probably most widely and best known now for being a member of the Critical Role cast.
This area was used for meditation. There's someone familiar with the Jedi Order.
But the wall run is a very, very good ability, very fun ability. You can do a lot of crazy platforming with stuff later on in the game as well. If I'm not mistaken, there's another collectible in this area, but I don't remember exactly where it is. Excuse me. Well, I think it's that right there, but I don't know if we can get it while while these guys are around, so we'll just we'll have to leave them for now. There we go. Yeah, there's another collectible up there, but we can't actually get up there quite yet. Or can we?
Whoever owned this bag brought it from Coruscant. They were frustrated with the Jedi Council.
That's the nice thing about these little echoes, is that a lot of them give you tiny little story tidbits that basically give you backstory and lore to whatever location you're in. Sometimes it's general stuff, and sometimes it's much more personal. Just depends on the section and depends on what kind of collectibles you're finding. Told you I'd remember that this chest was here.
Oh, all right then. What was in there?
This unlocks this elevator for us to use, going down or up now. All right. Let's go this way. If I remember correctly, there's another collectible around here somewhere. Excuse me.
Someone may camp here. They were excited to discover a giant creature that lives close by. A binog, they called it.
Alright, let's try up here. Yeah, so this is one of those areas that, like I said, it makes it really difficult to actually get any of the collectibles because you have to go through this entire animation in order to open these containers. And these bad guys aren't going to let us. And it's really hard to bug out. It's not impossible, but it is really hard to bug out that animation. So we're just going to bug out instead. And we're going to head to the temple.
Racy there? Oh, it's on. We're not finished yet. Okay, you probably would have won. Probably. Huh? Good job.
And something that BD can do in a lot of areas is actually just scan to get us a little extra lore. If it's something that doesn't have a Force Echo on it necessarily, you can just get a little bit of extra databank information as well as a tiny bit of XP. So, always helpful. We'll rest for a little bit.
Amazing. You all right, BD?
Well done, whoever you are.
You have passed the test I left behind, and gained access to the vault and this recording, one of many encrypted logs stored in the droid. I am Master Eno Cordova. I may not know your name, but I know your purpose. The fate of the Jedi Order lies in your hands. This place, this vault, is a sacred temple, built by a vanished civilization known as the Zepho. Meditating here, I was granted a premonition through the Force, a vision of doom. I have placed inside this vault a Jedi holocron, containing a list of the names and locations of young Force sensitives throughout the galaxy. Ahead, you will find the inner chamber of the vault, but also another test. I can only trust this holocron to someone who has followed my path and understands. Seek out the hidden tombs of the three sages, and learn to perceive the mysteries of the Force as the Zepho once did. In this droid, you will find everything you need to succeed on this journey. Go to the Zepho homeworld. There, you will find peace in the eye of the storm. Good luck, Jedi. And may the Force be with you.
I guess you were the someone I was supposed to meet. You know, I've been alone for a while now. Without any purpose, just hiding. There's no way to live. Not for a Jedi. Or a droid. Maybe Seer was right. Maybe we're done hiding. Hey. You want to meet some, friends of mine?
And that's a thing that happens with the frame hitches sometimes. BD just kind of teleports to you. That's fine.
Think I found what you wanted me to see.
Sounds like you did. We'll be waiting.
So this is supposed to be a mini boss fight, but again, we can just ignore it. Because the game doesn't actually force you to fight. It doesn't lock you in a room. It does that for later mini bosses, but not for this one. So we're just going to move on. Find another way. So we could head further down, but I'm going to go this way first. So I want to unlock this door. But not before scanning that.
My friend, it appears the Zepho had some interest in Dathomir. Strange. For such a peaceful culture to have any sort of fascination with a place so dark.
So Dathomir is definitely a place of interest to people who are familiar with the larger Star Wars universe. It's been a planet in Star Wars in some form or fashion for a very long time. Don't worry. We'll be headed there later. Let's pause for a second and head back down this way, because I don't remember... Ah, yes. So that's another thing that we actually have to come back for. There's a lot of that in this level. This game in general is very Metroid-esque, very Castlevania, Symphony of the Night-esque, where you'll come to a lot of areas that you just can't really do anything with. Until you have abilities from later on. I was hoping some of the frame dips would resolve themselves there before I tried to make that jump, but yeah. I do have to give this game credit. Even with the frame dips, it's actually still really responsive control-wise, so that's not hurted it at all. So that guy down there is an optional mini-boss fight. It's one of the very toughest things that you can do in this part of the game, especially this early. And we're just going to ignore it because there's no point never doing it since we're not going to kill anything.
Oh, hi there. Making a new friend?
There we go. Boglings. It's interesting how this game portrays some wildlife as instinctually non-combative, and most of it off of this planet is insanely aggressive and combative, to the point where a lot of the times they'll just straight up try to kill you upon sight. So, oh hey Sarah, practicing your floating? Oh, there it is. Thought you weren't a Jedi anymore, Sarah.
You passed the test.
So you knew about BD-1?
Come on board. We'll talk inside.
Oh, BD-1, this is Grease. Hey, Grease.
What is that? Get off my sofa! Get off my sofa! No! Get out of there! Get out!
That is BD-1. He's with us.
I don't care who he's with. Do you have any idea how hard it is to get oil stains out of petroleum fabric?
Not really.
Oh, I hope you found something better out there than this droid.
Oh, calm down, Breeze. He did. Tell us, Cal.
The vault was built by an ancient civilization called the Zepho. A Jedi named Eno Cordova hid something inside of it.
What did he hide inside?
A holocron from the archives. It contains a list of Force-sensitive children.
The next generation of Jedi. I knew it! Ah, Cordova, you old fool.
You knew him?
Yes. A long time ago. I was his apprentice. Cordova was a loner. That little droid and I are probably the only ones that know about Pagano.
Hold on, wait a minute. A hollow what?
A holocron. It stores information, but only accessible to Jedi. Hang on, I think I have one around here. Use the Force.
This is Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. I regret to report that both our Jedi Order and the Republic have fallen.
That's
With that list of Force sensitives,
Obi-Wan's message that he mentions having recorded in Episode 3, and you actually see for the first time in the Rebels TV show.
We have to follow Cordova's path. He mentioned something about the planet Dathomir and a Zepho homeworld.
All right, well, where are we going? I'm just asking because I was thinking of maybe making some food.
Look, before we do anything, I need to know something. How come you're no longer a Jedi?
I mean, I saw you floating outside, so...
I had an experience that changed my perspective. So I cut myself off from the Force.
But you still want to rebuild the Order.
I believe that rebuilding the Order is the best chance we have against the Empire. What do you believe?
I believe I can't keep hiding from the Empire, so I don't really have a choice.
Cal, as long as you're alive, you will always have a choice. Are you with us?
We're in.
Dathomir or Zepho, it's your choice.
I really like Sarah as a character. She's really good, even though she can't apparently teleport. Yeah. So I really like Sarah. She's really cool. She's a great character. We'll find out more about her backstory as the game goes on, so don't worry.
When you want to go, let me know. I'll be right here.
Hey, Grease, what's this thing?
What? You've never seen a terrarium before?
Sure, but don't they usually have plants in them?
Well, I've been a bit busy hauling you around the galaxy. But you know, you could pay me back with some seeds.
I thought you hated nature.
When it's out there, you betcha. But when it's behind a comfortably thick wall of embarring glass, that's perfection.
All right, I'll see if I can find any.
So that's one of the other collectibles that we can get. There's actually seeds that we can find on every planet that we go to that will allow us to grow some interesting plants.
Seer, can you feel the Force at all?
Yes. But instead of opening up, you push it back down. The exact opposite of what you should do.
Out there, I remembered something about myself before the purge. It was painful, but like I found a piece of myself.
That's good. You're learning to embrace the Force again.
How can you say that?
Because I know what it means to live without it.
Okay, I'll keep trying.
So there's a lot of little optional mini conversations like that you can have with both Grease and Sarah. I'm going to try to get them all just because they unlock a lot of the backstory for both characters that you otherwise would miss. There's no incentive to do it. You know, there's not like an achievement or anything for it. But, you know, there's no reason not to either.
Let's talk later, Cal.
See, and you can always tell when they don't have anything left to say because they'll say something like that. So the game presents us with a choice immediately.
Where to next, Cal?
We can go to Zepho or to Dathomir. Now, it presents us with this choice, but then if you try to choose Dathomir, basically everything in the game, including Grease and Sarah and everybody else, is going to tell you that might be a bad idea because you will end up going to Dathomir later on in the game naturally anyway. There's no reason to go here early. You actually can't finish the planet now anyway. So it's a best idea just to follow the story and go to Zepho, and we'll go to Dathomir later. Here we go, to Zepho.
Ah, Zepho, my favorite place. When this is all over, I think it'll be time to settle down, you know, fall in love, start a family.
Love? You?
Yeah, you think a guy like me doesn't know love?
I bet you're gonna tell me.
Let me tell you, it's the best, but a lot of work. It needs admiration, devotion, attraction, and respect.
Grease, that's actually very insightful.
Yeah, well, it comes with experience. Can't look this good and not steal a few hearts.
I bet.
All right, we're here. Get in your chair.
So anytime you travel to a new planet, you'll get a small conversation like that with the crew. If I remember correctly, that conversation about love is a reference to Titanfall 2, where a similar conversation happens between main characters in that game.
This might not be the best time to land.
Something strange. Those winds are interfering with our comms.
Hey, Cordova mentioned something about peace in the eye of the storm. Well, I can just make out a settlement in the middle of it.
Then we have to get there.
Copy that. Couple bumps ain't gonna kill you, kid. Unless the wind picks up. Can you tell that bucket of balls to keep his opinion to himself?
I'm sure everything's under control.
It's under control. It's just a little tricky. Okay, hold on. Huh. Perfect landing. Easy money, baby.
But I'm still getting a lot of interference on the comms. It's gonna take me a minute to get them back up.
I'll search for signs of Cordova in the meantime.
Good. I'll be in touch once I crack this. Cal, over here. You did good work on Bogano.
hang on. I can see you two have been through a lot. It's not easy.
No, it's not. But I think of those who believed in me at one point. If I give up on myself, then I give up on them. I'm sure you have a few of those.
Prof, friend on Braca. He sacrificed himself so I could live.
He believed in you. A lot of people depend on you, even if they don't know it yet. Keep going, Cal. For Prof. For everyone.
BD-1's a helpful droid.
He does seem to be warming up to you.
Cordova must have really liked droids. He decided to leave such important information with BD-1.
I only assume he chose BD-1 because he needed some sort of ability to store encrypted information. These exploration droids are good tools for that sort of thing. But I'm sure he's more than that. Please, I'm trying to collect my thoughts.
There we go. So let's see. Let's see. Where is Grease? He might be outside. That's a nice fat frame drop right there. Yep, there he is.
Good work. Oh, we did it. We did it. I hope you're not hurt. What are you looking at?
Who are you talking to?
Just my ship, the Manus. Good name, right? Intimidating. Oh, what do you know? You probably never even flown a ship. Maybe I'll teach you one day when you're done with your Jedi stuff. I'll even give you a discount.
Nice landing, Grease.
Me? Oh, yeah. Not a problem. It's easy for a skilled pilot like myself, especially when flying a ship like this. This baby was a steal. Well, I mean, I didn't steal it. I bought it. Well, I almost. I took out a small loan. Big loan, actually. No, it's fine. Look, we're all fine. Don't worry about it. Don't you have Jedi stuff to do? Get to it, kid.
Been just you and Seer for a while?
Oh, yeah, she's great company. What about you? How long were you alone on Braca?
I wasn't alone. I had, people.
Friends?
It's hard to have friends when you have secrets.
Don't worry about it. Friends are overrated. What did that say?
He said we're all his friends.
Oh. Well, that's kind of nice. What do you want? You're up to something. Nothing gets past old Greasy. I'm watching.
All right. So let's go ahead and move on. So let's go ahead and bring up the map real quick of this area. So there's two ways we can go. Through the hangar directly in front of us and kind of off to the side here. Following that path. Let's go ahead and head to the hangar first. It's like it's a hangar going back to the Republic days, if that symbol is anything to go by.
BD-1? Just making sure you're still there. What is it?
So, we just got our first poncho material. And if there's anything that you learn about this game as time goes on, is that Cal is inordinately fond of ponchos. You saw him wearing one on Braca in the opening. And the only unlockable clothing that you can get, aside from just different colors to his jumpsuit that he's wearing right now, are ponchos. So, actually go ahead and open up the start menu and show you. Poncho. Whoops. Wrong button. There we go. So we have the Braca one, and then we just got this one. Once the textures load in, so we can go ahead and switch to that. There are unlockable skins also for BD-1 and for the Mantis itself, but I'm not really going to be changing those very often because I like their default looks quite a bit. Maybe once we unlock something cool later on, we can switch. But all right, and those guys are going to be the bane of our existence for a while. These little rats.
Watch out, BD. They don't look friendly. won't open.
There's a lot of those locked from the other side doors here in this area. So those rats, for the most part, whenever you encounter them, you can usually just run past them. They like to come out of little holes, kind of like the boglings do, only they're not nearly as friendly. And they like to ambush you. And they hunt in packs. So they're really annoying, especially when you play on higher difficulty levels, and then they hit like trucks. So...
Cal, can you hear me?
The Empire. They found Zeppo.
If they were following the Mantis, we would have been swarmed already.
Could they be looking for the tombs?
Let's hope not. Just got our comms working. I'll try the same workaround to crack into theirs.
So, the reason that Cal said that there was a... he knew that the Empire was here is because a TIE fighter was supposed to fly over at that point. But, yeah, I don't think it loaded in properly, so it kind of didn't happen. But, thankfully, that this actually unlocks a door that we can take back to the Mantis. So we don't have to go that long way around anymore. Alright, so we're just going to avoid that. Once again, we can just go through pretty large sections of this game without fighting anything, because it's just not necessary. It's also funny whenever the Stormtroopers fight something other than me, they have a lot of the same trash talk as if they were fighting me. Not all of it. Obviously, they don't call out, like, one of those rat creatures as being a Jedi, but some of it's the same. And it's kind of funny. So we're just going to avoid these guys and try to get to the collectible thing that's over here. There's another Echo. Excuse me, boys. So we're not going to look too in-depth at a lot of the echoes that we have in this area, but they do tell a heartbreaking little story of a family that used to live here, of colonists, not Zeppo, not natives, but colonists who used to live here on this planet, who got separated by the Empire.
Hey now.
Keep your guard up.
Good thing they're such miserable shots, huh? Whoops. Excuse me.
I'm not done with you. I'll get you. I hit him. Get back here, scum.
Yeah, I didn't mean to do that, but, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, you're attacking me, there's only so many different ways I can avoid killing you. If you're being this determined to, you know, die.
You got it.
Scored a hit.
Don't let up.
On the move.
On my way. There's the Jedi. He can't match us.
Oh, come on.
He's dodging fast.
I'm tracking him.
This is the main reason why I play on a lower difficulty is because it makes it much easier to run past enemies because most of them are super bad shots and also not very aggressive. It's like I'm not even trying to parry these blaster bolts, but on this difficulty the game is just that generous.
Hey now. So what was in there?
It's like, yeah, you know what? If you attack me, I really don't have a choice.
Good job.
You know, as much as I want to try to do a pacifist playthrough of this game, it's just not possible for a lot of it. I can do my best, and I have been doing my best. Let's go ahead and rest really quick, so that way all those enemies come back anyway. But now, we also have a skill point that we can use to unlock another point here, and we're going to get that superior blocking one. No, we have to get this one first. Maximum life and then the superior blocking. All right, let's keep going. So again, you do unlock a lot of lightsaber customization materials, but we're not going to actually do any of that for quite a while, so let's kind of stash those for later. Restore power to this area so we can actually see where we're going now. Make this jump real quick and head up further in. So now we're above that village area where we were before. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for handling that for me. See ya. All right. And now these guys.
Looks like a problem.
These bad boys are some of the hardest enemies to fight in the game on higher difficulties because they're fast, they're unpredictable, but more than anything, they do a ton of damage. All right. So those two we need to take out. These guys we can just leave because they're not going to get over here. I had to take these guys out, unfortunately, because one of them had a rocket launcher, and he was going to blow up everybody if we were going to let him. So, all right, so there is a place that we can go. Whoops. Nope, that's not what I meant to do. I've actually never jumped up on that before. I didn't think you were able to do that before. Alright, see that area right there? I completely missed this my first time through this level. It's actually a pretty useful meditation point that leads to some collectibles, so we're going to want to go up there in a second. There we go. There's a scan for BD. Some meditation area if we need to restore some health and other things. We're just gonna head up here really quick. I believe there is something that we can do up here, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, so let's head in here. Now I know that there's a collectible in here that we're not going to be able to get. At least I think I remember that being the case. It's been a bit. It's been a bit since I finished getting most of the collectibles in this game.
This crate was moved here by Stormtroopers. They seemed anxious for some reason. Pressured to find relics.
So, there's your piece of heart, or other kind of, I don't know, generic collectible to increase your health meter. There's secrets that you can find for those, and also ones to increase your force abilities as well.
Whoa. That's gotta be one of the Zepho. Guess we're on the right track, huh, BD?
Alright, as much as I want to hear the Stormtrooper talk about his leg making the weird clicking noise, we're just going to go right past him. As if they don't need to die, we're not going to kill them. Okay. Trying to get the game to settle down a little bit. There we go.
Seer, there's a transport ship leaving the Empire's base.
I heard. They plan to bring Zepho artifacts to Coruscant.
Does that mean?
That the Emperor is interested in Zepho? Maybe.
Villager was wounded, but he took out a trooper. Can you slice this? Yeah, sorry about your scomp link. But standing up to that bog rat, pretty brave.
So because BD got damaged in that opening level when he attacked the bog rat, fortunately he can't hack through that door for us yet. He'll be able to later on, but for right now we're kind of limited to what we got.
I hear you. Hit him! Nice hit! Someone else get in here.
Here's a pro tip. When you meditate, even if you don't rest, the enemies reset to their default positions. So the only reason that they knew I was here is because they were staring straight at me when I respawned. So, oh, and this guy's a lot of fun. Bye. So the nice thing about those heavy guys is they just kind of stand in one place, so you can just walk past them. Took almost my whole stamina bar to block that, but... Alright, and here's another collectible thing that we can't get until we actually have that Scomp Link repair for BD. No, you won't.
Oh, okay.
He's just gonna kind of wander away.
What was in there?
Alright, so we've got to go this way. Okay. There's a nice shortcut. And then there's this. Yeah, I do not like these guys with the rocket launchers. They're a pain. Yeah, generally the guys with the rocket launchers are the ones to kill on sight if you're not doing a run like the one that I'm doing now.
In accordance with the Emperor's will, we've occupied Zepho, redistributing its inhabitants. This planet has failed to yield significant data or relics for Project Augur. Its electromagnetic winds have rendered the bulk of our mining technology useless. Meanwhile, more Stormtroopers lose their lives to dangerous fauna. We will not be able to fulfill our directive here. It is my recommendation that we disband the project and leave a token outpost to keep scavengers from stealing our technology.
Project Augur. All right, here we go. Excuse me.
Get up here.
I was hoping I could sneak past them and grab that collectible, but oh well. Okay. So, despite what it looks like you can't cut through those bars, we're going to have to find a way to that collectible a different way. Like this. Well, not like that, but you get the idea. There we go.
Oh, all right then. Fine.
Some light platforming.
You need to move fast.
On it. Thanks.
Whoops. So you probably saw that collectible over there. You're technically not supposed to get it yet, but you can reach it pretty early if you pause these things at the right times and you're good at jumping. Which I'm not, but you know. Ah. I need to get a running start, and I'm not doing that. Alright. There we go. Much better. There we are. Another life essence. Very nice.
Proper leadership and motivation, which you cannot provide. You're relieved.
Of course, the Empire would try to mine a planet using technology that's basically just pounding gigantic pistons into the side of a mountain. That's very much on the Death Star side of Imperial engineering. Just as subtle, as usual. Or you know what? We can actually get another force power. I'm going to grab that improved blocking. Superior blocking, I'm sorry. That'll come in handy. Basically just means my stamina for blocking has increased, which means I can block more before Cal's arms get tired. Alright. Alright, excuse me, fellas. Excuse me, friends. Just trying to get to the temple, that's all. Whoops, that was weird. Just kind of skipped off of the platform there for a second. I blame the frame jumping. There we go, that's more like it. Okay.
I found something.
What do they know?
No mention of Cordova. I don't think the Empire knows he's been here.
Then we have the advantage. For now.
Okay, this area. It's dark and there's a lot of rats. So they're going to try to swarm you in the darkness. But it's going to run right past y'all. There we go. And head out. So that's a nice looking area that we can't get to. I bet you don't know what ability we have to unlock in order to get through there, huh?
Can't get through. There's a storm up ahead. Something about it crippled the Empire's equipment. I can feel something pulling me there, beyond the storm.
Follow it. Let the Force sharpen your instincts.
All right. I'll do my best.
Alright. Let's do a quick savey save there, and then we'll... Actually, before we head up there, take a look around, because I believe there's at least one collectible that we can get just kind of lying around on the floor in this area.
Hey! What do we find?
If you hear noises in the microphone, it's because my cat decided to climb up on the back of my chair, which is a narrow leather chair, and so she's having to dig her claws in to try to cling on. I'm not going to try to remove her because I don't want those claws to wind up in me instead. So there's a lot of these guys around here. We're just going to avoid them all because they are really annoying to fight, and I don't want to have to kill them if I don't want to have to try to kill them unless I have to. So, excuse me, buddy. Here we go. These narrow little passages that the game usually uses to disguise loading screens.
Never seen a storm do that before. Yeah, it's incredible.
So this is where we get to kind of the more Tomb Raider inspired part of this game, because this whole section here on Zeffo has some tombs that we can actually go into of this ancient civilization that's no longer around. So they're all deep underground. They're really hard to get into and get out of once you've beaten the game and you're looking to go back and get a bunch of collectibles. But I'm not bitter, not at all.
I'm in the tomb. Sign of them down here.
What about Cordova?
Still not sure what I'm supposed to find. He's a little...
eccentric? Tell me about it. But he wouldn't send us here for his amusement. Keep an open mind.
So that area with the bowl and this thing, I mean, you guys can kind of do the math for yourself. If you've played video games before, you know what we're going to have to do. Just not yet.
You see that? Ugh.
So those things are going to be a pain in our butt through most of this area and through most of the tombs here on Zeffo, period. Not just this one. There's a skungus among us. So basically, I'm going to do my best to avoid having to show you, but I'm sure I'm going to wind up showing you at some point, is that if you touch one of those things, they explode. So you don't want to touch them. Excuse me, fellas. So, as befitting this game's theme, or I guess you could call it a theme, not really a theme, but there's a lot of mentions of wind in this area, so here we go. Puzzles about stuff blowing back and forth in the wind. All right. So we're going to go ahead and meditate here. And this is actually where I'm going to call it for today because we're about 2 hours in, which is a good, decent length for a stream like this. And, you know, it's one of those things where I probably want to let my computer's insides rest for a little bit because, you know, like I said, this game is not well optimized, so I'm pretty sure that my graphics card, my memory, and possibly my motherboard are all having a conniption fit right now, trying to run this and the stream at the same time. So I will cut this off here. I hope to see you guys around for the next stream with the next part of Jedi Fallen Order, Pacifist, quote-unquote, run, wherein as few things die as possible. Except for Stormtroopers. Thanks, everyone. Good night.